Welcome back, everybody, once again. This is the second Friday in a row. I believe we're one away from setting the record this year. This is Hit the Track, sponsored, of course, by hitthepick.com. Make sure you stop by. Check out hitthepick.com for all your handicapping needs. I am the host, as always, Scott the Steamroller Steehn, and I'm joined today by not one, not two, but three guys who know a hell of a lot more than I do about NASCAR racing, and we're anxious to get to them. Let's meet our cast of characters, of course. My partner in crime, the guy that you've seen with me all year long. I believe he's going to the race this weekend, so he's going to be able to give us a firsthand report on the next show. It is Tom Macrina, a.k.a. WryCape. What up, Tom?
Not too much. Yeah, I've been to like the last five Dover races. So I'm excited for this one. Hopefully we have nice weather. That's why they moved it to July from April. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. Yeah, I love this track.
Very nice. Very nice. Should be fun. Should be a fun race. And next to Tom, joining us once again, returning champion. We last saw him. We were trying to figure it out probably back in March, or as we call it, about 3 shows ago. It is Johnny on the track. What up, Johnny?
What's going on, guys? Always good to be back with y'all. Good to see Tino. We were joking around that we got a nice percentage of the fantasy league, so we can talk some, fantasy loosely. Excited. New tire, Tom, is going to be interesting. New tire, no tire test. This could be a fun one to watch. So I feel like you're going to get a treat on Sunday. I'm excited. But good to see you, Scott, WryCape, and Tino to be with you.
Always a pleasure, my friend. And you can find Johnny, of course, all his social media at JOTT-podcast. That is Johnny on the Track podcast. So there you go. And as mentioned by Johnny, we are joined by a fourth guest today, a first-timer. I think he was set up before to be on the show with us, and Tom got, I don't know, a hangnail or whatever happened to Tom. I don't know.
I didn't get a hangnail.
If you watch NASCAR at all, if you watch any shows about NASCAR or listen to any shows about NASCAR, you've probably seen this guy. It is Tino Pattigno. What up, Tino?
Oh, thanks for that, and thanks for having me on, guys. I'm super excited to be talking Dover. I feel like we're getting back to oval racing for the first time in like 5 weeks, so I'm excited for that. Excited to talk everything betting-wise and fantasy, like Johnny said, too, and everything else in between for, a good race that I'm hoping to see at Dover, the Monster Mile. So thanks again for having me on, and looking forward to everything we're going to talk about on the show.
Absolutely. And you can find Tino at TinoPattigno. Tino, what else are you doing? I know you got a lot of stuff going around the country about NASCAR. Where else can they find you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm also on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90. I'll be on with Nuke the House this Sunday, doing a little preview show, giving our best bets, and just sort of talking more in depth about everything. We'll be talking on this show, post-practice and qualifying, so that'll be a big thing. Johnny mentioned the tire, too, so I'm really excited to sort of see what that could look like. So tune into SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. I'm also on the draft with Full Tank with Phil. Ryan Stevens win the race on Wednesday nights. So that's on our social media platforms as well.
There you go. Don't feel bad if you didn't write that down. We're going to cover it all at the end as well. So, get ready. If you wrote down half of it, we'll get you the other half here in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, Tom, you and I did the show last week. We talked about Sonoma up there in the heart of wine country, and you had a lot of racers that were not SGV, right? SVG, sorry. And who won that race, Tom? I don't remember.
Yeah, so, yes, we did not have SVG. Talked about him a lot. Did not bet him.
That's right. We talked about all the reasons we thought he would probably win the race.
Yes.
And Tom said, I'm going to go in another direction. So you did cash Kyle Busch top 10 at plus 110. But overall, a lot like your fantasy league week 1. That's what I'm saying.
Correct. Yeah, it was a rough Sonoma. It was a good race, though.
All right, so the particulars about Dover, as we talked about, that's where they're headed this week, Dover, Delaware. 1 mile concrete oval, that's 1.6 kilometers if you do that sort of thing. So, 24 degrees of banking, 9 degrees in the front stretch and back stretch, and both the front stretch and back stretch are 1,076 feet long. Get on it quick, boys. This is a concrete surface like Bristol. Is Bristol still concrete, or they do asphalt there now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Bristol's concrete.
Is this the only 2 concrete tracks we run on?
Nashville.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Opened about 55 years ago. It's owned by Speedway Motorsports. Good work if you can get it. And Tom will be one of 95,000 people there. And they took that down from 135 2014. Fun fact, it's one of the only 10 tracks to host at least 100 NASCAR Cup Series races. This will be the 107th edition. There you go. Sunday will be the race, 2 p.m. Eastern, 400 miles, 400 laps. Stage 1, 120. Stage 2, 130. Stage 3, 150. And that's one of the things I always bitch about is like they seem to backload the stages. So yeah, we got a little more even distribution there. So, and this is going to be, of course, the EchoPark Automotive 400. Yeah, there you go. We've got 37 drivers in there. Denny Hamlin brought her home last year. Tom, did you have Denny Hamlin in this race last year?
I did not, for the same reason that I didn't have SVG last week.
I see. He went through all the reasons why Denny Hamlin should win and said, I'm going to go another direction. Good deal. Kyle Busch won the pole. And this week's favorites, once again, we can have Tom just blow this guy off. Denny Hamlin, once again, is the favorite. Kyle Larson joins him, as you knew he would, at plus 500. Blaney's plus 700. Byron, 750. Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, Red Dick, and Chastain, all plus 1,200. So there you go. Tommy, let's get it started with you. Who's your top pick in this one?
Yeah, so this will probably be a chalky race. Guys who are good here from history are usually the guys who are good here on race day. You talked about Denny Hamlin. So, yes, he's a favorite. I usually don't take the favorites, but I like him here. He's been great at this track. He won last year, led 136 laps. He also won in 2020. His last 5 starts at Dover, he has an average finish of 5.4. He led 207 laps over his past 3 starts at the track. So he stays up front. I don't know. Nobody would be surprised if he pulled it here. Yeah, it's not a great price. I found him at plus 500 I think on Bet Rivers, but there are places where it's as low as plus 375. I think after qualifying, it might get even lower.
All right, and DraftKings, for the record, still has him at plus 500 as of right now. Mm-hmm. Tom, we're going to have to edit this part out in post. Now, we talked last week. You wanted to go through and talk to each individual guy about each pick, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Make sure you edit that part out in post. Tom does a lot of work in post. Johnny on the track. You buy into Denny Hamlin?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's funny, right? We talked briefly about the new tire and what that could bring, right? And let's say there is let's say that new tire has extra wear, which I think is what they're hoping for. The last race that had a tire with extreme tire wear, with a brand new tire that was tested out, was Bristol, last year now? Mm-hmm. And who won that race? Denny Hamlin won that race. So he is very good at conserving his stuff. He is the chalk pick. This is a chalk pick race. Now, I think, again, like this new tire could play a piece in it. Tom talked about the weather possibly being a factor. We talked briefly about that. That is possible as well. A lot of rain in Dover, Delaware this past week and what looks to continue through the weekend. So you never know, right? Maybe practice and qualifying get rained out. And I wonder if practice and qualifying were to get rained out, would that mean Shane Van Gisbergen would start on the pole? That'd be pretty funny. Imagine that. But no, I mean, it's a chalk pick. It's the right pick. He is the top guy here. So yeah, I'll let Tino kind of chime in as well on his thoughts there.
Yeah, let's do that. Now, Tino, I wanted to ask you before we get rolling on Denny Hamlin. Mm-hmm. Is there a reason they seem to roll out these new tires at concrete tracks? Are these concrete only tires that are kind of designed to run at Bristol and Dover? Is that the idea, or is it just happen to be where they test them out in race conditions?
Well, I think the interesting thing about this tire to that point is normally we see a tire test. Normally when they bring in a new compound, that I'll agree with that. I think concrete tracks like Bristol, where we saw really limited passing this year, where in this race last year, like Johnny mentioned, there was tons of passing because the tire compound there was over dramatic in terms of the wear and everything like that. And Denny Hamlin still did prevail in a crazy race that was. So going into this race, us bettors and fans and even the drivers don't even know what to expect. And I think that's the crazy part too, is they don't even get any extra practice time. They're going to go out and do the normal, few minutes practice, then qualify. And so with this tire specifically in a long green flag run, which we've seen at Dover in the past, we don't know what's going to happen. So I'm not expecting too much from it. Like, I don't want to go into this thinking it's going to be Bristol of 2024, but it very well may be with the track conditions as well. We're going to see a lot of, grip being put on the racetrack from Xfinity Series the night prior. But like Johnny said too, if there's weather, that's going to get all rained out. And then we're going to see a green racetrack there, drivers slipping and sliding. The only other parts I'll add in, going from the tire now to Denny Hamlin, is the fact that there's only 3 drivers in tracks that I've used to compare Dover and using research and data for this weekend. And it's going to be Dover from last year. Like we talked about, the veterans here and the experience they have in this track continue to show each and every year when we keep coming back here. But also Nashville, which is another concrete track, and Bristol from this year. Only 3 drivers have finished inside the top 10 in all 3 of those races that I'm using as like my main standpoint from looking at those guys. So Denny Hamlin is one of them, and I love his odds to win this weekend.
All right, very good. Is Nashville also a mile, or is it a mile and a half?
It's like 1-2 maybe. It's
Okay, just kind of a little hybrid thing. All right, very good. Tommy, I know you've got another driver that's lined up for a much bigger payday, even better than twice as good. Also a bit of a veteran driver. Tell us about Chase Elliott.
Yeah, so I've actually seen him win live twice in Dover, so I'm going to back him here again. He has an average finish of 5.7 over his past 3 years at Dover. 2 wins at the track, 2018, 2022. Top 5 last year. He looked good at Sonoma. He recently snapped a 44-race winless streak at Atlanta, which happened to be the last oval, I think. 4 top 5 finishes in his last 5 races. He's second in the standings. He's good on the concrete.
Okay. Now, Tom, before everybody throws their money down on Chase Elliott, because you've got to see him win twice in a row, remind everybody when you went to the Phillies game earlier this season how that ended up.
It's different. That's different.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
As they usually do when I go to
race luck, baseball luck, completely different things.
Yeah. I mean, it's just Philadelphia sports. When I attend, they lose.
Okay, very good, very good. And Tom will be out of state, so everybody's money should be safe on Chase Elliott. Johnny, you like Chase Elliott here?
I love Chase Elliott. I love his whole team. I am placing a hefty wager on winning team. That's not everywhere. You got to shop around to find winning team. I usually bet through Rhode Island Sportsbook here in the great state of Rhode Island. We always have winning team. They are plus 160. And if you actually break down the data, you can make an argument that this is Chase Elliott's best track. Tom mentioned he's very, very good at concrete tracks. You know who else is very good at Dover? Alex Bowman is very, very, very good at Dover. Don't ask me why, because he's not very good, but he seems to have a knack for this track. You've obviously got Larson, who's one of the favorites. And it's interesting, Byron has actually not had good careers in the next-gen era at Dover. But, I mean, you kind of stack on how fast he's been pretty much everywhere we've gone. You got to at least take a look at him. So I'm high on Chase Elliott. I'm high on Hendrick. The bet right now, you could probably shop around for this, but I see it at plus 160. And even that, I think that's pretty darn good value to get 4 of the top 10 drivers here. Quite frankly.
Just for the edification of our fans, what team is that?
That would be Hendrick Motorsports.
Oh, I've heard of them. They're good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Tino, Johnny says he's high on Chase Elliott. Are you loading up a big bowl of Chase Elliott and firing it up?
I am. I think I love the Hendrick Motorsports team bet because when we're looking at these drivers, those top 3, William Byron, who's probably the best performer consistently this year, aside from Chase Elliott getting top 10s. But when it comes to leading laps, that'd be Byron. And he's my probably fourth best driver at this track, I would say. So I like Chase Elliott a lot. He's got the best average finish in the next gen era here, 5.7. Alex Bowman's the guy, though. I think with him being where he's at, and we're taking a look back, right? Let's have some perspective. Where he's at in the playoff standings right now, he's right there around that cut line, only in the 14th spot of 16 drivers who make it. And I think we can still see a couple new winners this season. And if we do so, Alex Bowman just won't make the playoffs without a win. So I think when we're going into Dover, I love Chase Elliott. I love Kyle Larson. I expect them to be running better than Alex Bowman. But with that being said, Alex Bowman in his last 2 races here in 8th place and a 5th place finish. So if there is going to be a time for him to win, I think it comes here. And, I can also see some potential team orders to where if Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, William Byron are ahead of Alex Bowman towards the end of that race, they won't be. That's a little crazy to say, but I can definitely see that happening here rather than anywhere else.
Yep. Very good. Very good. All right, Tom, and let's go back to you one last time here. Let's kind of put these guys together. I know you've got a couple of guys lined up for nice kind of semi-long shots to finish top 3 and top 10. Let's talk about Blaney and Barry.
Yeah, so both Ford guys. I like Blaney. He hasn't won. He's never won Dover. His best finish was 3rd in 2023. He actually had problems at Sonoma last week. I just think he's going to be happy to be back on ovals. The way you run strategy, his team is always good at running the strategy. So I think he's going to do well here.
Okay, very good. And Barry?
Yeah, Josh Berry. I don't bet him a lot. I like him for a top 10. I finished 2nd or 1st in all 3 Xfinity races here. He was 10th place subbing for Bowman a couple years ago. Last year he was 14th. He hasn't been great this season. Actually, I think the last time he did well was when we took him for the win. But I expect a solid showing. I do not expect him to qualify well. So I am going to look at him as a top Ford also after practice and qualifying. It's around 10-1 right now. I think we get a better price on that. I think Josh Berry is going to be good this weekend.
All right, very good. And by the way, prices on that, Blaney top 3 is $230. Barry top 10 is plus 200. So, yeah, you want to take a little flyer there and double your money? That's the way to do it. Johnny, you buying in on the double B boys here?
Yeah, absolutely. Blaney is a money line that I'm attacking. He's right around 7-1. He's moved a little bit, but you got to bet Blaney. I make a joke on my show, like pretty much everywhere, every like oval track, you pretty much bet Blaney because he's a top 3 car at every track. But either, he makes a mistake, somebody wrecks him. And if not, like, I feel like the only clean race he won, and that was also on concrete at Nashville. Yeah, Blaney is an absolute. You gotta take him at 7-1. Like, you just have to. Now, I do like some alternative plays in terms of top Ford, just because he's such a large favorite. He's like minus 110 to be the top Ford. So if you just pick somebody else, whether it be Barry, whether it be Busher, who I like, they're right around like 5, 6, 7-1. And so I think you should probably take a flyer on those guys because we know like how up and down Ryan Blaney has been. Here's another guy. All right. Here's another guy. And Tom, I think you took, Tom's out, but I believe WryCape took him at Texas Motor Speedway to win. I know I did. Not a lot of people had this guy, but he's making his 600th start. His very first Xfinity start was here in May in 2008. We have not been on an oval in a month, okay? Possible weather, okay? New tire. There's 3 things. And then the storyline, Joey Logano, right around 25-1. I've bet Logano as a money line twice this year. Once was at Texas, he won, and then the All-Star race, he finished 2nd. So usually when I'm high on Logano, it just clicks. And he's never won here. He's won plenty of Xfinity Series races at Dover, never won in the Cup Series. But man, Tom, I know you don't want to hear it because I can't imagine you're a Logano fan. but I think there's a pretty damn good chance he could find his way into victory lane on Sunday evening. And even if you don't like him to win, again, I think if things get a little wonky, he's a guy you always want to have on your card because the race just comes to him when things get wild.
All right,
Yeah,
very good.
I looked at the price. I was eyeing Logano. I'm not gonna lie. Though he hasn't won, he's been consistent here.
Yeah, he's a top 10 guy every time we come. But yeah, he's one I think you got to take a look at.
All right, very good. And by the way, I know there's a lot of disappointed listeners out there that play the shot game every time Tom says Buescher or Quapple. So no Buescher this week, but I got some good news, Quapple fans. So I will be getting to that here in just a second. So very good. Tino, we're getting a lot of love for Tom's picks. Blaney and Barry, you on board?
Yeah, oh yeah, all the way in on Ryan Blaney this week. Both the guys mentioned it, but one other point that I wanted to bring up was my stat before that I was using about the comparable tracks. Well, we look back at Nashville, right? Ryan Blaney did win that race earlier this year. It's a concrete track, and as Tom alluded to, that was strategy that came into play. Team Penske does that best, and that's why I love the Joey Logano call out as well, Johnny, because if we see strategy, it's gonna come from Team Penske. I feel like that's how it's gonna go down at Dover, and that's where Blaney, Logano always sort of excel. Now, I mentioned Denny Hamlin. Kyle Larson was also in the picture in terms of the finishing inside the top 10 in the last 3 concrete tracks that have Dover, Bristol, Nashville. Ryan Blaney's the third driver in that mix. So I really like his odds to go out and win this one. Plus 700, 750 I've also seen somewhere. So shop around. I also think he's a good driver. He's going out early. If there is qualifying, he's going out early because of the issues he had at Sonoma. So he probably will start a little bit further on in the pack. That doesn't matter to me. And in fact, helps me and my thought process because I'm going to wait until after practice and qualifying, get probably a potential higher number than that 7-1, and then just going to see him run through the field. Because when we talk about ovals and how it has been hard to pass this year, no one's passing better than Ryan Blaney on these types of racetracks. So I love the call out there. Josh Berry as well. I can see him getting that top 10 plus 200. I love the value there. I think this is a track that fits his driving style. He's a short track guy, came up from those type of routes. This is a fast short track too. I know some people like to say it's not a short track. I'll consider it one, but they're going to be going really fast around it. And then we talked about top 4. I heard that being thrown around. So I'm going to go Ryan Blaney to win the race. But in terms of top Ford play, last year's top Ford was Noah Gragson. He finished in 6th above Ryan Blaney, who finished 7th. So I'm not saying Gragson in this one, but definitely to that standpoint, maybe we see a Ryan Preece step up who's been there in that spot before. Also, Preece is a guy going for points. So if it's late in the going and we need, some strategy coming out, maybe a 2-tire pit stop, something like that to gain additional spots, I can see Ryan Preece, Josh Berry potentially being one of those 2 guys to be a top Ford in this one.
Very good. Very good. And just for once again, for the casual listeners, how is the order of qualifying determined?
Oh, a lot of different components in that one. Tom, do you know all of them? I can try to.
Oh, there's a rain out? No.
Okay.
I know.
All right. Well,
sometimes they post lists on Twitter, and then you try to go from there. I hope that's right. But yeah,
okay.
I don't know how it's determined.
It's point standings, average finish, and like previous race finish, like all those 3 things in a formula combined. So for instance, like we've been talking about SVG, right? He's been dominant on the past few weeks. So if qualifying was to get rained out, he's starting very low, I guess you could say, in the order because they go take off high to low. So he'd be starting, I believe, inside the top 10 there. And then that's sort of how that plays out based off of all the different, this year is more reliant on the weekly finishes. So if you're having a strong run, for instance, like SVG, or if you're Ryan Blaney, and Blaney is one of the best drivers in the series, inside the top 10 in the point standings, has a win, but had trouble finished in the back 30 last week. That's why he'll be rolling off sooner rather than later.
Okay, very good. All right, Johnny, we've talked about Tom's picks. What have we not covered that you're looking at this week? What has Tom missed?
Yeah, what have we not covered? I feel like Stenhouse is a guy that you should probably target for a top 10, right around plus 350. I hate betting on Stenhouse, quite frankly. But track history has a lot to do with, what we see at a track and a race like this. Stenhouse has always been good. He had a fast car here last year, average running position of, I believe, 13, if I have that right. He's got the 11th best driver rating at this track in terms of active drivers. So, and he does have a top 10 here in the next gen era, scored stage points in both the stages last year. So again, that kind of shows you his average running position. And Stenhouse is one of those guys where past history is pretty much how you bet on him. That's just how it is. Dega, he's always good. He always finishes well. Darlington, he's always been good. He always finishes well. Bristol, another track, even when it was dirt, you expected him to run well. He did. Iowa was another track when introduced. He had a great Xfinity series at history at Iowa. Comes right in, bang, puts in a couple top 10s there. So overall, Stenhouse is a guy that I would look at for a top 10. And I'm with Tino and Tom. I think you can take a look at some of these top Fords because to the fact that, like I mentioned, Ryan Blaney is like minus 110. So if you want to go Priest, Gregson, maybe it's Josh Berry, I think you can like make some Hail Mary plays there and hope that it's one of those days where Ryan Blaney either, wrecks out early or something happens late in the race and force him to be back. I mean, no matter what, he's going to pass a lot of cars is Blaney, but this is a track where one big wreck can usually take out half the field just with the way that it's shaped and everything. Are we talking, Scott, Xfinity? Because I got one Xfinity series bet. Yeah.
We are going to talk Xfinity here in just a second.
All right, I'll wait on that then. But, okay. I think Stenhouse is a good look for top 10.
Okay. Tino, you on board with Recce Spinhouse?
Yes, sir. I hope he doesn't do that this weekend, but love that play there. He's been strong here. Finished second at this track in 2022, which is really a strong performance from him and that team going up against the Hendrick Motorsports guys there. Another driver I wanted to talk about, so I appreciate the opportunity to do so. It's Ross Chastain. 15-1 for Chastain on Bet Rivers. I've seen him open up at 12-1 as well, so definitely a good time to shop around for him. I guess also you can say they don't qualify too well, so if people want to wait and make sure he's been fast in practice and everything like that, I think that's okay to do so for Chastain. But he's got the best average finish in the next gen era at this track, and also and he did finish 12th in this race last year. But to me, that is where last year Trackhouse, his team that he raced for, they just weren't really up to speed as much as they have been in the past. I feel like a lot of the other teams have caught up to them in this next gen, body and the speed they've been getting out of the car. But the 2 years prior to that finished in second and third. So this is a track where, and we've seen Chastain have success on concrete before, like tracks like Nashville. If he's going to get a win in another place this season, I could see it being here because it's one of his best tracks. If you want to look in the prop department, I could say a top 5 for him would be a good way to sort of be able to take other drivers that we like more for the win, like Blaney, Larson, Denny, and you can still get him plus 225 for a top 5 for Chastain.
Okay, very good. By the way, if you wanted to take a flyer on Ricky Stenhouse, it is 90-1 to win the race. So nice. It's kind of play that can make your season. And I did want to bring up something. We try to touch on it every week, but I know we have a lot of new people listening each and every week. What Tino said about shopping your lines, absolutely. You've got DraftKings is 12-1 on Chastain, and he mentioned you have the opportunity to get it at 15-1. And I know a lot of people, you get above 10, you're like, yeah, I don't know, whatever the difference. But you have to remember, folks, that's 25%. If you take it at DraftKings instead of another place where you have an option at 15-1, you're putting yourself in a 25% hole just to start the race. So just shop your lines. Tom, how do you feel about Ricky? We lose Tom again? Oh, yeah, we did. We lost Tom again. He was having sketchy connections. All right, very good. Johnny, you got any other Cup guys you want to talk about?
Cup guys? I mean, I feel like we kind of nailed in a lot of those guys. Tino mentioned Gregson, who was the top Ford here last year. He's got a really good well, first of all, he had a great average running position last year. Good, solid history at Xfinity. So maybe him for a top 10. And then Kyle Busch, I feel like we really have not talked about. and Kyle Busch won the pole here last year, finished really well here last year, is coming off 2 brilliant drives on road courses, 10th finish and a 5th place finish. So a little in form is Kyle Busch. Now, do I think Kyle Busch is going to go out and win this race? No, I don't, because I think something stupid would happen. But I think I think he's going to bring speed, and I think enough speed to hover right around I don't know, 7th place. So I would take him upside top 5, but absolutely top 10, especially when I think he's plus 200 for a top 10, if I have that correctly. I'll let Tino kind of chime in there as I try to find this. He's even money. So he's even money for a top 10 at this point. I think that line actually shifted. But Kyle Busch, I mean, we haven't really touched on him, but he's an interesting guy to watch this weekend.
Let me ask you something real quick about Kyle Busch, Johnny. Obviously, he is not where he used to be as far as standings go, always competing for the win each and every week. Is it a team situation? Is it a driver that's getting older, losing his skills? Is it equipment? Is it Kyle? What's the difference between now and, say, 5 years ago?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think he's pushing too hard because he doesn't have what he actually needs. And that's why you see, I feel like, when he does have what on road courses, when he does have the car, he actually seems to run pretty well.
Right.
He should have won COTA. I mean, he should have won COTA. If there's not a late race caution, he wins that race. He probably could have won, not Sonoma, the road course before that. I'm blanking on what it was. Chicago. He probably could have won that if things go one way or another. I know SVG dominated, but he had a great car as well. Drove all the way up from the top 5 after spinning out and whatever. I think he's pushing too much. Again, if you follow him on X, every week he wins this Wednesday night shootout thing he does at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He just destroys the field. So obviously he can still drive a race car. But I think at the ovals, he pushes too hard because he feels like he can get more out of the car than it actually owes him, quite frankly. And in that case, he's kind of all over the place. It's funny. The equivalent to that of a young guy, I feel like, and now he's starting to come into his own a little bit more, is Ty Gibbs. I think Ty Gibbs, now Gabe Hart coming back has helped him, but I think Ty Gibbs, that team for whatever reason didn't have what he needed, and Ty Gibbs was pushing and doing stupid things. It's funny, kind of Gibbs, right? The young guy at Joe Gibbs Racing. Kyle was there for so long. I don't know, little crossing connections there, but yeah, that's my opinion on it. I don't really think Kyle's lost a step because, Denny Hamlin keeps winning, and I feel like those guys are still right here, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that's
very
how
good.
I see it.
Well, and I think Kyle would have done a lot better in Chicago if they wouldn't have rolled out their bold strategy of stopping for a hot dog along the way to get a Chicago dog. So that's definitely going to keep you out of the top 5. Tino, who have we forgotten? It seems like we've covered about half the field. You got a sneaky one hidden under a cushion you want to pull out?
Oh, yeah, I do. And it has to do with Ty Gibbs. We've forgotten about the NASCAR in-season challenge. It's the final 4 round. And this has been awesome to see. I'm a big fan of NCAA tournament and all that stuff, and making brackets and doing everything from that standpoint. And there were 0 perfect brackets left after the first race in Atlanta. Some people were mad about that, which is fair, but I thought it was awesome because this is exactly like we're seeing Cinderella stories, and one of them being Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon's going up against John Hunter Nemechek this weekend, and John Hunter is minus 130. Ty Dillon in this matchup is minus 105. I'm looking on the DraftKings Sportsbook for this specifically. So if you go to the driver prop sections under matchups, you can see that matchup that I just mentioned, which is a matchup in the final 4 round of this in-season challenge. I'm going with Ty Dillon. I'm riding the Cinderella story all the way to the championship there. And then the other one is Tyler Reddick versus Ty Gibbs. So Reddick is the favorite in that one, minus 150 over Ty Gibbs at plus 110. I have been very impressed as Johnny alluded to, Ty Gibbs' performance recently. He's been getting more out of the cars. I will say road courses are more of his strong suit there, but he does need a win to get into the playoffs. All that being said, I am still going to go with Tyler Reddick. I think, and this is my big brain activity going off here, Tyler Reddick is involved with that lawsuit, 2311 Racing, and NASCAR. If he goes out and wins NASCAR's in-season tournament after everything that's been going on with the charters and whatnot, this could be just a great storyline for them, getting NASCAR's money after all of them suing each other back and forth and everything like that. So with that being said, if you want to go with Ty Dillon at -105, Tyler Reddick at -150, little parlay action to pick, you get +225 for both those drivers to beat their matchups and advance to the championship round of the in-season tournament. I think that'll be fun to watch on Sunday.
All right, very good. Normally, this would be the spot where I'd ask one of the guys to explain the lawsuit and give us all the details. I'm not going to do that. Google it. It's just go down the rabbit hole. It's a deep one. So we don't have that kind of time nor inclination. We're here to talk racing, not lawyering. So, Tommy, welcome back. Good to have you back in the show, everybody. It's Tom. He's returned. Tom, let's talk a little Xfinity. We've had a couple races in a row where we haven't had Xfinity. We've got Xfinity also running at Dover, and I know you've got a long shot, buddy. One of those that can make your month. You want to talk about it?
Yeah. So this is the same thing. It's going to be a chalky race. This race all the time. That's Allgaier and Truex. I actually like Truex. He's won the last 2 times here. Yeah, he's done good at it's his home track. He's familiar with the track. He's going for the 3-peat. I just think it's crazy that his price is 35-1 for Ryan Truex. You can get him top 5 at +352. So I like that. I'm going to stay away from Allgaier. You were talking earlier. I do like Carson Kvapil too. I just think he's getting better on these ovals. I like the equipment he's in. We like to bet on Kvapil.
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel bad for Buescher this week. I really do. You were throwing B names out there. You had Blaney and Barry. It just would have been the perfect fit for Buescher. You're like, no, not this time. All right, that's cool. Johnny on the track. You got a little Xfinity action going. And what do you think of Truex? Is that an outrageous price? Because he's even done well in the Cup cars here.
Yeah, I mean, usually when I haven't heard of the team that you're racing for, that's always a tough one for me to bet on. But again, track history is track history. And I would assume that I think it's a Toyota team. I think it's Sam Hunt Racing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty positive on that. Anyway,
the singer?
My guess is there's probably a lot of Toyota guys that are helping out. Joe Gibbs guys, maybe Martin's in there trying to help out. So I actually think that probably will be close to a Joe Gibbs Racing prepared Toyota, if you will. Sorry, somebody walked in my house there. Anyway, but I like that pick.
Okay.
The other guy that I'm high on, also a Toyota, and he is a guy that has won 2 poles here, never won at Dover. But when he was with Joe Gibbs Racing, which he's back with Joe Gibbs Racing, he had a lot of top 10s. That is Brandon Jones. Now, Joe Gibbs Racing has won the past 2 races here. They've won a lot of poles in their time, in the last, say 10 races here. Brandon Jones won at Darlington, which is one of those unique style kind of wheelman's tracks. I put Dover in, again, a unique style kind of track, higher tire wear. So Brandon Jones, you can get him for a top 5 at, I believe, 250 is the number, +250. Yep, that's correct. So top 5 for Brandon Jones at +250. He's got some tough competition. Almirola will be in this race, who always has had a good track history at Dover. So he's up against a good Joe Gibbs Racing teammate. Tom mentioned Allgaier as well. Allgaier is -475 for a top 5 at Dover. That's insane. But I really like Brandon Jones this week for a long shot to win, as well as a top 5. He's 15-1 to win, by the way.
All right, very good. And by the way, that is they do drive. Truex does drive a Toyota for Sam Hunt Racing. That is Sam Hunt, the driver, not the country star, in case you were wondering. So very good. All right. Xfinity time. Tino, what you got?
All right, so love those plays there, but a couple of drivers I like to win the race haven't been mentioned just yet. Ross Chastain at +350. He's in the Xfinity Series this weekend, racing in the Junior Motorsports 9 car, which has been dominant in these past few weeks. You've seen the 88 going up against the 9, Connor Zillage, SVG racing against each other. Now, those are road courses, but that is the premier team in the Xfinity Series right now. JRM and Joe Gibbs Racing, I feel like, are the top 2 teams when we're looking there. So I like Ross Chastain. And this is another thing, too. I was talking about him for the Cup Series. Well, going in double duty is something that I didn't mention for the Cup side. I think that is something that can benefit him a lot, getting those extra reps on this track. Now, it's a different car style, body, everything like that. You can't take too many comparisons from how the car's handling.
Is it a different tire?
Not a different tire. So that
they are rolling out the new tires for the Xfinity race as well.
Oh, they are.
No, that's my question.
I believe they're not. I think that was just Cup centered.
Okay.
Specifically.
Okay. So it's the regular old Xfinity tires they run everywhere else.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
All
But
right,
just So having that extra reps at the track, though, I just, you're racing on the same track. I think could help him. And another driver I wanted to throw out there was Sheldon Creed at plus 1,200. He's an underdog play, still yet to win in the Xfinity Series. He's finished second like 10 times. But at this track specifically, he's been there contending for a win. So if there is a place where just getting, second place, and it finally breaks through, I think it's going to be at this track for Sheldon Creed. Now, I do think the value is fair as well at plus 1,200. He's a driver that's always sort of up there contending. Maybe he doesn't have better equipment than JRM or JGR, but things can get crazy towards the end. So I could see Creed being up there having a chance as well.
All right, Creed, let him take you higher. That's all I'm saying. You knew I had to do it. Tom, what have we forgot? What do you want to talk about?
That sounds good. I want to bet on Brandon Jones. He's like my Rory McIlroy in golf. Every time I bet on him, he's awful.
Okay.
So I'd stay away from him.
That's a good recommendation there, buddy. Where can people find you, Tom?
At WryCape on all social media. Headed over to Dover. I'm not camping, but I'll be in the parking lot pretty early. I got beers. I got smokes, so we'll have some fun.
Tom has promised to give anyone who stops him and says, "What up, Tom?" a beer. So make sure you do that in the parking lot.
I should have enough to do that. So.
All right, excellent. And you can find him at WryCape on all social media. Make sure you stop by and hit the Pick Discord channel. Tom is a star of the Discord channel. He's sort of the daddy over there. So make sure you stop and talk to Tom. And that's the place he puts most of his picks. If you want to get him in real time, make sure you stop by and get him over there at the Discord channel, hitthepick.com. Johnny on the track. Have we forgotten anything? Any other drivers you want to talk about? And where can we find you?
No, I mean, I the one guy I'm looking at this Xfinity list, I see William Sawalich at 60-1. Yeah, he's stunk this year, but he's in a JGR Toyota, pretty good track history, so maybe there's some value on him. But again, he's stunk this year, and he's one of those guys that'll, wreck himself doing something stupid. But, maybe some value.
High praise indeed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it shows you how confident I am in that one. At JOTT_podcast on X, Johnny on the Track on Action Network, Johnny on the Track on YouTube, weekly betting show Tuesday nights. Get you prepped. Again, that's Johnny on the Track on YouTube. You can find that show. And then we've been doing a lot of just random content with actually some good viewership recently. So good stuff there. But yeah, it's always a pleasure to be asked back on the show, and hopefully we can do one more. Tom, mark me down for New Hampshire. That's the one.
All right.
There it is.
All right. I'll see if I'm around.
All right. And Tino, first of all, I think Tom and I need those jackets. Need jackets just like that. Where do you get that?
Well, I actually got this one at Macy's, and it was a crazy story. I walked in the store. My sister was actually working there at the time. I saw the jacket hanging there, and I knew. And this was 5-6 years ago now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
And I was looking at it. And I was like, I need that, but I don't know why. And here it is, become a part of who I am. So if you want to get a gold jacket like this, you guys could all rock one and look great doing it. Head over to Macy's if they still got them. But I got some extras in my closet. That's all I wear. So I can. If you guys want to come over, I can give you a jacket. We can watch a race sometime.
Excellent.
I'd
Very
rock
good.
one.
And Tom, you would absolutely rock that, buddy.
Yes,
no question about it. And you can also catch Tino in the Honeydew Lounge doing his tribute to male crooners from the 60s and 70s. So make sure you stop by and check that out. Tino, who have we forgotten about? And tell us where to find you.
Yes, sir. Well, I think we covered them all, which is good. Some driver, we talked about Ross Chastain. I think that's one driver that could fly under the radar this weekend. Keep an eye out for the Hendrick guys. One thing I will say about Kyle Larson, because I think maybe we could have talked about him a little bit more now that I think about it, is he's been slumping this summer. Everyone's been like, where is he? He's normally called the greatest driver in the world and everything like that, and he hasn't been there. And we expect, at least I expected him to come back last weekend at Sonoma, have a strong run. He just didn't. This is the week where I would be very surprised if he's not contending for the win. And if he isn't, now it's time to sound the alarm. Something is actually wrong with that 5 team. But with that being said, we saw him dominate Bristol, the last concrete track, or one of the last ones with Nashville as well in there. And he just really performs well. When we're looking at this tire as well, too, we don't know what to expect. I think that plays into Larson's hands, just like it does with Denny Hamlin. They manage their stuff really well. And breaking news from me here, my Johnny on the Track fantasy pick for this weekend, if I went with Alex Bowman, which I'm looking at the sheet right now, I don't know if it was me or not. I'm going with Bowman. If I have already, I'm going to go with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in this one. Underrated play. We talked about him for a top 10. It could be a good points getter for me, and I'm right there in the mix fighting for a championship in the fantasy league with JOTT. Guys, make sure you check him out. Check me out, too, at Tino Pattigno. I'll be on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90 on Sunday and all throughout the week as well, getting you ready throughout the season for more NASCAR betting I can't even talk. Content, analysis, all that stuff. So I appreciate you guys having me on here, too.
Absolutely.
I'll be coming back on anytime you guys want me to. This was fun.
All right, great. We loved having you. And we'll go out real quick. We didn't talk fantasy. Johnny, who's your fantasy pick this week?
That's a good question. I have literally used every single good driver. Like, I have all the just absolute bums of the field. So I got to take a look.
Stenhouse?
Yeah, Stenhouse is definitely – he's an option for me this week. So I might be rolling Stenhouse. Maybe Priest. I don't know if I've used Priest. He might be on my list. So one of those guys. But it's not going to be a top-tier guy. I know that.
Tommy, have you used up your are you down to the third stringers? You down to the back?
No,
bench?
I'm actually not. I got some guys I could use. I don't know specifically who, but I'll have one of those top tier guys in my lineup this week.
Okay, very good. All right, guys, as always, first of all, thanks very much to our panel. Special thanks to Johnny. Thanks for Tino for being here. Had a great time, you guys. Welcome back anytime, because I get bored just talking to Tom because he's the one that knows stuff and I don't know nothing. So I'm just here for the jokes. So everybody, we do this every single week, except when we don't, at 5:30 Eastern time on Friday, 4:30 Central. And make sure you stop by hitthepick.com, your spot for honesty, integrity, and transparency in all your handicapping needs. I'm Scott the Steehn Roller Steehn. I had a blast. You guys, good luck this weekend on all your plays, and we'll be back next Friday on Hit the Track. Take care, everybody.